Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the Spiral Abyss has just reset. We do now have the first Spiral Abyss of the Luna 1 cycle, which is very exciting if you ask me, but most importantly it means that we have a brand new Abyss to test out our llama in. I have leveled her up a bit since the last time we used her in the Abyss, so hopefully we can get some decent results here. We do also have some new enemies as well, quite a few not Krai characters here. Now unfortunately we won't be taking advantage of either, or perhaps fortunately we won't be taking advantage of the buffs on floor 12, because on the first off we will be going for a llama Neuvillette Hyperbloom team here alongside Kuki as our Hyperbloom trigger, and then on the second half, instead of going for a Bloom or Lunar Bloom team, we will just be brute forcing it with a Mavuika without even using Citlali. We're just gonna go ahead and slap on Xilonen as well as Bennett and Iansan, just basically hyper carry Mavuika instead of a melt team with Citlali. Also, all 5 stars here are C0R0, but full character builds will be at the end. So yeah, these are the teams we're going to be going for, hoping for the best. But real quick, if you want to pull any not Krai characters, then I have the perfect thing for you, and that's the sponsor, lootbar.gg. You can use Lootbar to top up in your favorite games like Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail and save up to 25% with special great value offers such as the all-in-one bundle and the 6480 Genesis Crystals pack, which now applies on Xbox and PS5 as well. Lootbar leverages favorable exchange rates and uses Hoyoverse partner ads, so you can get the most affordable prices and the same top-up bonuses you would in-game. Thanks to the Genshin anniversary with Not Krai's release and the top-up bonus refresh, this means you can also receive double on your first purchase on Lootbar. Lootbar is safe, simple and secure, as you only need to enter your UID and region in order to get fast delivery. When I decided to buy one of my friends a Welcome Moon, all I had to do was enter in their UID and region, and I received the purchase in literally less than 10 seconds. Creators like DuckTV and Jello Impact are also collaborating with Lootbar, so they are trustworthy, and they also have thousands of positive reviews on Trustpilot, and I've used it myself before, so I can vouch for the authenticity and speed. New users also get 10% off, so be sure to check out Lootbar using the link below. Thank you to Lootbar, and back to the video. Alright, well then here we are on the first half with our Neuvillette+Lauma Hyperbloom team. Now actually I do definitely want to try this out with Aito, but I know that this Abyss, it's not the most difficult, but also there are a few requirements, so I rather not bash my head against the wall trying to use Aito, and let's just go ahead and use Neuvillette instead. Honestly, I kind of did struggle coming up with 2 teams for this Abyss, purely because I actually wanted to use Skirk on the second half instead of Mavuika. But if I'm being entirely honest, my account just relies so heavily on Furina right now that I'm hoping Nefer ends up being a very strong Lunar Bloom character, which you pair alongside Llama and you don't need to use Furina for, so that then on my other half I could run Neuvillette or Skirk, who both kind of need Furina, so yeah, that's slightly annoying. And then, I mean, you know, I'd be much more down to use Mavuika if we had a Citlali, but as you can see, we don't. Anyway, yeah, we weren't using Llama there just because we didn't want the Dendro application to get in the way of the Hydro or the Electro. But now that we did break that shield using Kuki as well as Furina and Neuvillette, we can now go ahead and DPS, and we are doing some absolutely insane damage numbers. I did say this the first time around we tried out this team, but, you know, Neuvillette is very strong in AoE. He's very strong in AoE and strong in single target. But then add on the single target Hyperbloom damage in this Llama team, then it becomes also very good single target damage. So yeah, we were able to clear that with no issues whatsoever. Now then, onto the Hydro Tulpa. First chamber will probably end up being the easiest for us. When I was trying this with Skirk, the first chamber was going to be the hardest for us, and honestly I kept missing it by like 3 seconds, which kept annoying me, so I just decided to go for Mavuika anyway, and just hope that we can brute strength our way through the second and third chambers, which we should be able to. I mean, it is Mavuika after all, even if it's without Citlali. Also could have technically tried the Overload team with Current as well, but just because this is my first time actually having Iansan on this account, I want to see just how strong it is. You know, if we had C6 Iansan or even C2 Iansan on this account, that would be even better, but no, unfortunately here we only have C0. But so, you know, oh well, what can we do? Anyway, let's go ahead and scale that on Bennett, because we don't want this guy going big, I wanted to say. And now let's go ahead and ult. Okay, he just barely survived, so let's go ahead and skill, gets us some extra pyro particles, and there we go, very nice. That is the first chamber cleared, no sweat. And now let's move on to the second and third chambers, because it should only get harder and more interesting as we go along. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a sec. Alright, well then here we are on the second chamber. Let's go ahead and pick up the Elemental Burst buff as well, just so that we can get our Mavuika all the help she needs. It feels weird to say this, but I do feel like the Mavuika side needs a bit more help than this one. I feel like this one is more suited for the enemies that we will be facing, but Yeah, honestly, I did find it kind of surprising that they made it a Bloom as well as Lunar Bloom buff for the second half, and not like a Lunar Bloom and any Bloom reaction. That was slightly strange to me, but oh well, we'll just end up using our Llama on the first half instead. Anyway, I find that Hyperbloom teams tend to be much better in single target anyway, so this is probably a better matchup for her. Although if you were using Nina, I'm sure Nina would absolutely destroy the second half. Although that does also make me curious for when Nefer comes out, because I mean, there's no way they're releasing two Dendro characters back to back, and they're not basically made for each other. So yeah, I think we can almost guarantee on that. I mean, it happened with Escoffier and Skug, it happened with Enefa, and will happen with Flins, and now it's gonna probably happen between Llama and Nefer. So yeah, I just need to first of all hope that we can actually pull on Nefer, because we did spend 160 wishes pulling on Llama, and we literally have 0 right now. So we need to build, we need to pull as much as we can. I actually need to farm Primo Gems on this account for the first time in basically forever. And speaking of, well, instead of forever, this side took basically no time whatsoever, because it ended up taking 75 seconds, which we will definitely go ahead and take. Like I said, Hyperbloom Neuvillette is just very, very strong into single target. I used to run the Hyperbloom Neuvillette even without, before Llama came out, back in version 4 when he first came out, before he kept getting insane buffs to his team, whether it be the Cryo teams, whether it be the Lunar Charge teams, whether it be the just Hyper Carry teams of like Xilonen and Kazuha. Hyperbloom was one of my favorite teams to run with him. I also used to run a lot of Aito Hyperbloom, which is why I am excited to run it back as well. Unfortunately, it isn't going to be in this showcase, but hopefully in the future we will be able to go ahead and do that. Anyways, okay, unfortunately we weren't very efficient in taking out these dogs, although luckily we did clear the first half pretty quickly, so we should have some time to spare. These guys are grouping up nicely for us right now, although our cooldowns aren't really lining up perfectly. Although I think this should still hit the other bot. Never mind, it doesn't hit the other bot as well. He ended up being a bit further away than I expected, so I am kind of trolling here. I am not gonna lie. Although I think we still should be fine. We still have done for what, 38 seconds. I'd like to think we're fine. It is a shame that we have to waste an ultimate here, but oh well, what can we do? We just need to hope that these guys group up well together with their animals as well, because if that happens, then we can just take this all out in one ult. If not, then we are in a bit of trouble. Let's see. Go right into the middle. Hopefully this takes out all the summons. No, and yes, okay, cool. We should be able to finish this off. Let's just go ahead and funnel some particles into our Bennett. And okay, there we go, perfect. So we should have most of our ults up for the final chamber. And now we're going to go up against one of the brand new Krai bosses. And let's hope for the best. Alright, and finally here we are on the third chamber, where we actually get to pick a crit buff, which is nice for both of our halves here, so we're definitely going to go ahead and take that. We do have the F2P operative here. We should, okay, we don't get our Llama ult there, that's unfortunate, although this person should die relatively quickly, I want to say. Yeah, look at that, their health bar is already down. Okay. Now the key for this bot, I know, is to trigger Electro Charge on these little guys, because as long as you trigger it 10 times, these guys just instantly die. I'm pretty sure they have like insane HP balls, but as long as you just trigger Electro Charge on them, then you are fine. I will say the one annoying thing about this abyss, although in concept I don't, the fact that okay, yeah, most of them are already gone, which is very nice for us. The fact that both bosses require Electro Charge makes it clear that Electro Charge is basically the only requirement for this abyss. The problem I have with this is that Electro Charge is a really bad reaction. Electro Charge teams are not good, which means that you want to end up bringing Lunar Charge, and we only have one Lunar Charge character in the entire game right now, that being Enefa. If you don't pull for Enefa, then you have to run a team which isn't exactly meta. You know, there are some decent ones, like Auroran is just a decent Electro character. You can pair him with like Neuvillette, Furina, Kazuha, and then you've got a decent team. The only problem is that, like I said, it's just not exactly a top meta team, and the fact that they require these mechanics so hard is kinda upsetting. Also, I just want to say we are seeing some insane single target damage here from the blooms once again. I think at some point I saw a hyper bloom hit for 100k, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, we do actually end up clearing that boss pretty quickly. But like I said, so because electro charge, you can add in electro charge into your team, but you can't make an electro charge team because electro charge teams are just not good fundamentally. So yeah, it's kind of rough. So if you don't have an Efa and if you're not pulling Flints, then it's kind of rough. I hope they don't do that again. That's the one really annoying part. Also, these guys are really spread out right now. I just kind of need to hope that they group up. This guy didn't get hit by our Mavuika ult, which is costing us a lot of time right now. And okay, they don't want to group up. Great. Let's go ahead and ult this guy. I'm not even sure if that crit, if I'm being entirely honest. So unfortunately, we have to waste 2 whole ults on those guys, which isn't ideal. We just need to hope that the Kenkis stay grouped up a bit better, which right now they are actually doing, which is very kind of them if I say so myself. Now let's go ahead and Mavuika ult, and we do actually hit all 3, which is very nice. Let's go ahead and spin. Neuvillette is definitely my favorite AoE character, but Mavuika's spin does also feel pretty nice as well. The thing is, it is really reliant on enemy positioning. Okay, I am hoping that counted as completing our Xilonen skill. If it didn't, then that's pretty unfortunate. Okay, I actually don't think it did. But at the same time, I don't think it's matter because, pardon me, rather, I don't think that's gonna matter because we're gonna have to go for a third ult anyway. Actually, no, if we finished our Xilonen skill there, we wouldn't have needed a third ultimate, I can tell from the HP bars. But it's fine because these guys will basically die on settle. Let's just finish this in style with a Mavuika ult, hit for a nice 360k, and there we have it. That is the first Abyss of not quite clear. Were our teams optimal? No, but did they were they good teams and get the job done? Yes, and all at C0R0. So yeah, with that being said, let's just hop right into the character builds as well as the outro. Well then, as you can see, the Lauma Neuvillette Hyperbloom just feels like one of the best teams in the game right now. Also, you know, the fact that we have Kuki here so that we could use all the electrocharge mechanics for both the cactus boss as well as the robot on the final chamber. Very, very useful. So yeah, this team actually does give us quite a bit of elemental coverage as well as coverage for various boss mechanics, which is very nice. Now when it comes to our character builds real quick, our Neuvillette is on 44 crit rate, but that becomes 80 with March to say, 217 crit damage as well as 125 ER. He is on an R3 prototype Amber. For the artifacts, of course, March to say, like I said, double crit as well as HP, Hydro, and crit damage. And then constellations C0, talents 1088. For our Furina, it's 64 crit rate, 207 crit damage, 168 ER, alongside a level 85 sword, as well as artifacts, Golden Troop, of course, just stacking all that skill damage, as well as HP crit damage, with a lot of crit substats as well, and then C0, 2, 9, 10 talents. When it comes to our Lauma, she is on 968 EM, but this ends up being, I forgot to R5 her event weapon, whoopsies. So okay, we are missing a bit of performance there, but it's fine, I suppose. Slightly awkward, but I'm sure 25 EM wouldn't have changed that much. So yeah, this would now be 1168 EM in battle, alongside 163.9 ER as well from this weapon being level 80. Not quite level 90 yet, don't have the materials for that just yet. And then also Deepwood as well, EM as well as triple EM, trying to get a bit of ER as well. I definitely do want to strongbox some better Deepwood set as well so that we can get a bit more ER on her for a bit more comfort. And then 110.9 talents. When it comes to our Kuki, 862 EM, but this should go over 1000 thanks to Gilded Dream set bonus. And then also actually that's all that matters on our Kuki. Her weapon is only level 70, but we still go over 1000 EM, so it won't matter too much. And then when it comes to, like I said, we do have Gilded, so you know, just grabbing as much EM as we can, you know, just your basic Hyperbloom trigger build. C6, but C2 is really the only one which matters even slightly, but then, you know, her skill is level 9 just for a little bit of extra healing, just because it's a bit nice. And then when it comes to our other half, for our Mavuika, she's on 2.4k attack, 40 crit, which becomes 80 thanks to Obsidian, 223 crit damage, ER literally doesn't matter whatsoever, 100 EM, 170 EM, but that doesn't really matter either, level 90 Wolf's Gravestone, and then also Obsidian, double crit, as well as attack percentage, pyro damage, and crit damage, all getting as much crit stats as we can. C0 with 1, 9, 10 talents. And then when it comes to our supports, starting off with Xilonen, 2.4k defense, basically 226 ER, with a healing bonus circuit as well, Fav Sword R1. And then we do also have Cinder City here as well, of course. Defense, healing bonus, and then C0 with 110.8 talents. And then when it comes to our Bennett, he is also max ascended, 1.2k attack here, 223 ER, on a level 70 Equal Livonia. Definitely could level that up higher. It's just 5-star weapons require a lot of mats and HP healing bonus. Also, I'm pretty sure this requires arrows, yep, which is my least favorite thing to farm in the entire game. I've hated it ever since I started playing. 1 for 12 as well. Bennett's ult is not crowned here. He is C6, however. And then also our Iansan, wherever she is, there we go. 2.1k attack, max ascended, 208 ER. Using a prototype style glitter because I ran out of Favoniuses by then. And then also on Cinder City, of course Cinder City doesn't stack, but oh well, it's just I couldn't think of anything else to put on her. And then attack as well. And then Constellations, C0 with a crowned ult as well. So yeah, that's it for our character builds. Let me know how this Abyss went for you. If you guys found this helpful, let me know. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. See ya.